Hi, today I'm going to talk about finishing up your waterproof gaskets for making a DIY seal for the top of the roof of your vehicle if you're going to mount solar panels. Now here is the piece that I made. Now I already cut off the excess. Now you're wondering, how are you going to get this paper off? Well, there's a couple things you're going to need. One, a pair of scissors, and two, some really hot water. Now, dry your water extremely hot, the hottest you can get it. Set this in your hot water and the paper will start working loose and you can rub the paper off. And of course, it does have the cardboard right there. As you can tell, it'll peel right off the cardboard part, but when you get the silicone part, that's when you're going to have problems. You can see it's sticking to some of the silicone here on the top. See that? It'll come right off the cardboard, but it's not going to come off of the silicone. Take you a stopper. Put it in your sink. Throw that in there. And let it set for a few minutes. And then you can actually scrub that paper off using like a sponge. You can scrape it off using probably your fingers. Pretty much anything that'll scrape paper. And remember, you want this water really hot. The hot as you can get it. Let that paper sit in there. Unfortunately, our stopper in our sink doesn't work that well. So, we're going to see what it does. Like I said, our stopper doesn't work that well. And once again, once you get it, you can actually peel off as much as you want or cut off as much as you want. But the main part you need to get off is here. Right here, where your silicone mold is. Once that paper starts to loosen up, you should be able to scrub it off, pull it off, scrape it off, however you want to. As you can see, some paper's just coming off. And some coming off a whole lot. Now, if you want to make it a little bit easier on yourself, you can always cut it down to where your cardboard is. Or go ahead and cut it. And you can see these cheap scissors cut right through it. See, that's the cardboard, and that's where the silicone is. Like I say, give it a little while to rest in here. Let it soften up. You can use a knife. You can use, like I say, my finger. Once this gets pretty soaked, most of this stuff will just come off. But you really should let it set a while. I'm actually not letting it set long enough. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it. My mold is right here. I'm going to cut a little bit in the mold. And basically I'm cutting my mold out of the cardboard. Like I said, a cheap pair of scissors can work. Now as you can tell, it's real thick right here. It's nice and flexible. And if you cut the cardboard off, then all you have to do is get this amount of paper off here and soak this in hot water, and then it'll come right off. Or you can stick it in the sink, scrub it however you want. All you have to do is get this paper off, and then you will have a good gasket. You can use your fingers, you can scrape it, whatever. Like I said, the longer you soak it, the easier this paper will come off. As you can see, right here, I was just scrubbing it with the back of the sponge, and you can see the silicone, how smooth it is, and it's taking this off. That right there is ink. It will come off if you scrub it a little bit. As you can tell, more and more is coming off. Like I said, this is just ink right here. There's no more paper here. That's ink from the paper. But if you want it off, you can just keep scrubbing. And you can tell I'm starting to get all the paper off. And once I do all this on both sides, I will have a nice, solid, thick material for a gasket. Then you take your solar bracket, figure out how wide it's going to be, and just cut it. This is a perfect size for up underneath your solar panels. See that? This is the other side. How nice and flat that is. And that's a pretty good thickness for your solar panels. And see, this is wet. A lot of it's just rubbing off. Now, I'm going to let this soak for a little bit longer. But, like I said, even a cheap pair of scissors with this size thickness will work. You can always trim it to the size you need. But say my solar panels have a bracket of this thick, I just cut it with the scissors. If you don't want to use a razor knife. Like I said, you can still scrub all this ink off if you want. There you go. And that's a nice, flexible gasket. Now, when you put this under your solar panel, what you do, put it under your solar panel, cut it the right size, find where the hole is, and drill a hole through this. Right here, in the middle, wherever your hole is, make it a little bit smaller than your bolt or your screw or whatever you're using. Then when you crank it down, your solar panel will push down on here, and with this having a little bit less area for the bolt to go through, it'll make it watertight here, and it'll be watertight here. But that is an update on how to make your DIY gaskets for making waterproof solar panels, more or less waterproof on the top of your vehicle, like the roof of your van. Just using cheap silicone. I did allow this to cure It's been about a week and a half, I believe. I would not let this cure for anything less than a week and a half. So, as you can tell, I can get quite a few out of this one strip. And the bottom of it's right here. So I can get quite a few to actually make my solar, if I was going to mount it on my vehicle. We are no longer going to do that. If you watched my last video, I talked about that could have been my last video. There's a reason. We are purchasing a piece of property. In fact, today we went and got the money orders for the paperwork and for the down payment. So we are purchasing property, and things are going to be really tight. My girlfriend said she will pick up an extra day at work to help hopefully cover the cost of the internet. So it looks like we'll have internet at least for a little while longer. But I did want to show you how to get your gaskets. See that? And like I said, you can scrub this, rub it, leave it in hot water, let all this paperwork out. Any place there's ink, you know, the ends you can trim down, make them smooth. Just use a pair of scissors. You really don't have to use a razor knife. The scissors we have are cheap dollar store scissors, so and they cut through it. And like I said, it's just that'll take care of that. But I wanted to get this uploaded before, you know, people start leaving my channel and saying, well, you never finished this. And like I said, I wanted to give you an update. It does look like we're going to at least have internet for a little while longer. It looks like we are getting the property. Like I say, we purchased the money orders today for the deposit and the paperwork, which is when we paid off the deed transfer. And hopefully our landlord doesn't tear this down in the next year, year and a half, because that's how long it's going to take us to pay this land off. And we are tripling down on the payments. We're paying $500 a month, so we can pay it off in just over a year to a year and a half. So hopefully I'll be able to keep my internet and upload some more videos for you. But like I said, I wanted to show you how to complete and finish making your DIY gaskets for up under your solar panels. And that should do it for this video. I do appreciate anyone who watches my stuff. I appreciate those of you that have subscribed. And I want to thank you once again for watching my videos. And until the next video, everybody have a good day.